Happy Tuesday, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huff, and right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down week number 3 of the UFL, and we're going to give you our preview and predictions for week number 4. Welcome into the show, TJ. Happy Tuesday. How are you, buddy?
Happy Tuesday. Doing a lot better than you right now. No
That's no, for sure true. Yeah, I got my ankle in a boot right now. I went to have some X-rays done, and I broke a bone in my mother effing ankle. Oh man, I'm having a rough day. It's been a rough week, really, man.
It's been a rough couple days for you.
Yeah, I still didn't find my keys, so it's a whole hot mess, dude. But let's get right into talking about the UFL. Let's start with the first game on the docket and the best game, arguably the best game so far this XFL season, as the DC Defenders come back in the fourth quarter and steal this game from Arlington, 29-28. Jordan Tiamo, 11 of 24, 2 touchdowns. The completion percentage could be a lot better. He was also a leading rusher for the DC Defenders. Scott, leading receiver for the DC Defenders, and Roland and Smith had the receiving touchdowns. On the other side, Luis Perez, 24 of 40, 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their leading rusher was Smith with 63 yards, and then L. Scott had the lone rushing touchdown. And then Vaughn's had over 100 yards, went over the century mark, 1 touchdown, and Peyton 29 yards and a touchdown for him as well. But this is really all about the excitement that is XFL football. Arlington goes and scores. I think they're going to win the game. DC comes back and takes this game directly from them, using the rules to their advantage.
Yeah, they just stole. Yeah, they straight out stole this one. And when you look at the game on paper, right? Look at the stats. Total yards 419 to 259, 296 to 177, 123 rushing yards to 82, 24 first downs to 16, 13 of 18 on third down compared to 4 for 9. You're thinking Arlington ran away with this game.
I mean, you have almost nearly double the yardage. You win this game. But because of the XFL's rules, if you have a good quarter and if you have a good fourth quarter in the XFL, you could easily win a game. Just steal it, basically.
And that's what happened. They stole, they scored, they converted the 4th and 12 and got the ball back, and all they needed to do was get in their kicker's field goal range and walk-off field goal.
Yeah, Matthew McCrane kicks 49-yard field goal, walks off, wins the game at the horn, wins the game 29-28. But this is the kind of stuff that makes the XFL so great. You have an opportunity. There's never a game that's so over that you don't have the opportunity to come back and try to win.
Yeah, and again, we were talking about the NFL rules, and the one thing that we want the NFL the one rule we want them to adopt is the 4th and 5th, the 4th and 12, 4th and 15, whatever it is, instead of implementing an onside kick, because that's just that's really what it's like. Hey, offense, offense. Hey, we need this. We need this 4th, and we need this to keep the game alive. And the defense is like, we get this. It's over. We win. All she wrote.
I mean, it makes for a much more competitive product as opposed to a lucky bounce on an onside kick. But this is what makes the XFL great. And by the way, I had not realized. I thought Jordan Tiamo won the MVP of the XFL last year. He did not, actually.
He did not.
Yeah, I've been saying that for 3 weeks, but I realized that. AJ McCarron actually won the MVP. He had gaudy numbers through the passing game.
But I understand DC is 2-1 now, but the games I've seen with DC, Jordan Tiamo has not looked good.
I talked about this last week. His completion percentage has not gone over 50 in any game yet this season, and he was not going to win a lot of games. And the 2 games that they've won, they basically have stolen them at the horn. Yeah, so
So it's like, hey, but at the end of the day, all that matters is, hey, it's a W it's a W in the win column. And yeah, you're 2-1. You're 3 weeks in. You're still like you're one of the top teams in the league. But I wonder how much of that I wonder how much of that upset loss they had last season is still kind of lingering its head around. You get what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
Like
yeah, but I think because the players are not quote unquote the same, like it's, I think there's enough difference that I think you have to be able to shake that off. You may not be able to, but it's got to be.
that's what I'm saying. Like you may not be able to hey, sometimes it's hard for like especially for like for him, right? Like Jordan Tayama was there last season. Like the coaching staff is still the same last season, and the way we talked about DC last year, like bro, like we all but had the championship
Yeah,
given to them.
yeah.
Right, like they like because they were playing teams and it wasn't even close compared to some of the guys they were playing, like some of the teams they were playing. It
I
was
mean,
like, hey,
they finished the season 9-1, and they didn't lose a game until like the end of the year.
until
Like
the
they
end of
were
the year,
literally just beating people down. But they were also running the football a lot better last season. I mean, they had Abram Smith, who was ended up being the leading rusher of the league, and he goes down, tears the. I think that actually has a more of an impact on this team than them having some sort of hangover from the Super Bowl. But
yeah, that makes sense.
moving on from there, we basically had 3 blowouts in a row after that, as none of these games were overly competitive. First, we start with Saturday. Memphis Showboats go into Birmingham, and Birmingham showed why they're the best team in the UFL, as they put up 33 points, and they basically just go wire to wire, beat down the Memphis Showboats, who only put up 14 points in this game. Interesting enough, the Birmingham Stallions up to this point had utilized like a dual quarterback playing. Like they had Matt Corral and Adrian Martinez both taking snaps, both doing kind of good stuff. Not in this game. Adrian Martinez took every single snap at the quarterback position, and he was super effective in this game. 18 of 28, 334 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was also the team's leading rusher, which it's not ideal. But this team ran the ball well as a team.
It fits his play
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
Like,
he did that a lot in college too.
he did that a lot in college.
But that's, I mean, they were using Matt Corral as their passing quarterback in the first couple weeks, but this week Adrian Martinez was the passing guy. They also ran the ball extremely effectively. 23 carries for 100 yards, 4.3 yards per tote. They'll love to see that kind of production. Jay Sternberner, former Green Bay Packer. Williams also had a receiving touchdown on the Birmingham side. Chase Cook was okay in this game. He did get banged up, and Williams came in.
He took a shot.
Yeah, yeah. He threw a pick, but they didn't run the ball effectively at all in this game. 12 carries for 20 yards. If you're not a mathematician, that's 1.7 yards per carry. Just a bad day at the office for the Memphis Showboats, as Birmingham showed we're the elite team in the UFL this season.
Yeah. Again, when we did the season preview, I legit said Birmingham was probably the only UFL, whichever league they were from. Like they were the only team.
They were in the USFL and they won the title last year.
But they were the only USFL team I had complete confidence in that could, hang with the rest of the XFL. And so far, I'm looking like Nostradamus. I legit just want to know, how did Memphis make the cut and Seattle didn't? But that's a conversation for another day. I think Memphis is probably going to be the worst team in the league this year. And Birmingham, I said the one blow to them that they might struggle with is running the ball, because Bo Scarborough ended up retiring, and Adrian Martinez is not leading the league, not leading this team in rushing for at least for this game, if Bo Scarborough is still playing.
I agree with you on that, but
yeah,
he's not walking through that door anytime soon.
But like to your point, coaching staff had to make a decision with the dual quarterback play. Like, it's because after a while it becomes very predictable. Like, it's like, all right, if this quarterback is in, it's likely a running play. If this quarterback comes in, it's likely a passing play. And Adrian Martinez just probably hopefully nipped all that shit in the bud and it's like, hey,
Oh,
I
yeah.
went 18 for 28, 334 yards and 2 touchdowns, and I led the team in rushing. Like I can run this offense how you see fit. Like the only way the only way I want to see Matt Corral in this offense is if Adrian Martinez gets hurt. That's it. Or he's just having a horrible game, nothing's working, and they need a shot in the arm. Other than that, Adrian Martinez should be the starter. And there's nothing that's like now. This is what you were talking about last game, like with Arlington and DC. Like they doubled up Memphis and damn near everything. And yeah, this is what happens: ass whooping. 424 to 211, 324 to 191, 100 to like bro. Memphis only had 20 yards rushing. 20. Like, duh. You basically rendered them one-dimensional.
Yeah, and especially when Chase Cook comes out, you bring in the backup quarterback. Not a good look. From there, we got the team that hasn't won a game going against the Michigan Panthers. They win this game also pretty easily, almost a wire-to-wire victory here as well. I know the Roughnecks did have the first quarter. They were up in the first quarter, but it was curtains after that. Michigan Panthers 34-20. Reed Sinnett got the start after the kid from Tennessee got hurt last week. Wasn't cleared the protocol. I think it was a shoulder injury. 19-28, 197 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Pledger, 14 carries for 34 yards, but this team didn't run the ball all that effectively. 20 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown by the quarterback, 2.7 yards per carry. Hall had the lone receiving touchdown for the Roughnecks. On the other side, E.J. Perry continues to be a really effective, just a good quarterback in the UFL.
Yes.
16 of 19, 200 yards and a touchdown. He also punched in 2 more on the ground as this team put in 124 rushing yards. And then Sims had the lone receiving touchdown for this. But all of the people really want to talk about right now when it comes to the Michigan Panthers is Jake Bates and the kicker. He's been perfect. I think he's been perfect in the UFL. In this game, he kicked a 46 of 55. And yeah, 46 and 55. I talked about this when he kicked that game-winning field goal in week 1. I don't remember who they were playing now anymore. But he didn't kick a field goal in college. Like he was a kickoff specialist. He has not kicked a field goal since he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And
that just goes to tell me like, hey, it ain't like he just like wasn't like practicing kicking. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like he 100% was, still kicking field goals and practicing like on his own time. Matter of fact, one of those field goals he kicked twice. Because I think I forgot what happened. I think he was like a false start or something like that. Yeah, he had to kick the same field goal twice. And it's just like, no, they tried to ice him. Yeah. Like he kicked it, made it, but the timeout was called, and he went back and kicked it again. And it's just like, no big deal. I'm good. Like,
he's going to be probably playing in the NFL next season. I just think I didn't even know that there were kickoff specialists in college. Like that was even a thing. Like I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, like you see teams that they carry like two kickers. Like one guy does like kickoffs and all that other, and the other guy just strictly does field goals and extra points. So I guess maybe like in college he maybe had accuracy issues. Like he could kick. Who knows? I that's what I said. Like he could kick the ball a mile, but he wasn't accurate with doing it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like that, but that's probably why they had to do what they did. It's like, hey man, like you gonna blast this mother got the back of the end zone every time.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we're gonna work with you on like actually like like honing in the accuracy and. Because like the distance is not a problem. Like clearly, the distance is not a problem. So like you got to work on the actual important part of kicking, which is the accuracy part. Houston, very surprisingly to me, has not won a game, and I watched this one from wire to wire, and I messaged you. I'm like, yo, Houston is getting their ass kicked. But like you said, like hey, that if you look at the third quarter, they got outscored 22-3 in the third
Yeah.
quarter. Who are you beating? Who are you beating?
No one.
Who are you?
And
No
they're
one.
outgained by 75 yards or 80 yards in this game. You're not running the football effectively because Houston Roughnecks were a solid football team last year in the XFL. This is actually a mix.
I can't hear you. Now you're muted.
Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah, I got you now.
So this is actually the Gamblers franchise in the UFL because the XFL Roughnecks from last year was actually a pretty solid squad. They were a little inconsistent with Brandon Silvers being super up and down, but they ran the football effectively, and they had Wade Phillips as their head coach. This team just doesn't seem to have an identity. I mean, they're on their second quarterback already. They're not they're not running the football effectively either. It's just that this is a Roughnecks team that just doesn't have an identity.
And I think so. Like I would go this week coming up. I would throw Reed Senate back out there. Not saying like not to say it like that because that just sounds like horribly put. I just throw him to the wolves. Like no, put Reed Senate back out there. 19 to 28, 197 yards. That can get improved. Like that's serviceable. Like you can work with that. Cut down on like obviously one interception. Cut down on that. That's the only turnover they had. They also fumbled, but they didn't lose it. And find a running combination that works if you're Houston. Minnesota, Michigan. If you're Michigan, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Try you want to replicate everything you did. Everything like 208 passing yards, 16 of 9, but the real mark of that is the 16 of 19 from EJ Perry, 84%. That's perfect. Like that is hey, if you can't go perfect, do that. Like that's two penalties, the whole game, 4 quarters, 2 penalties. 7 to 12 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down, 56 plays, and you average 6 yards a play. That's perfect. David, what do I always talk about? You want 4 yards of offense all the time. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And you're muted again. Why are you muted? I can't.
It keeps losing connection to my microphone for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I'm just having a rough week all around. Moving on to the final game. We got the St. Louis Battlehawks going up into the Alamo Dome and beating the San Antonio Brahmas as the Brahmas were unable to pull the magic out of the hat this week as St. Louis showed why they're the far superior football squad, 31-24. AJ McCarron, again, solid in this game, 19 of 27, 152 yards and a touchdown. Jacob Saylor was the leading rusher for the St. Louis Battlehawks, 7 for 62 and a touchdown. AJ McCarron also had a receiving touchdown. Akeem Butler, by the way, was brilliant in this game, 6 of 87 and a touchdown. Shepard also had a key kick return that allowed the Battlehawks to keep momentum, even though he did get tackled by the punter, but that's neither here nor there. On the Brahmas side, Chase Garbers, 27 of 41, 143 yards and a touchdown. What is this guy's first name? 1 second. John Lovett was leading rusher for the team. And then former Pittsburgh Steeler, 9 of 39, touchdown. This team ran the ball okay, 28 for 102 yards, 3.6 yards per clip, but not as good as the Battlehawks. 19 for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5.9 yards per carry. And then Jordan Kirkland, 8 of 52. He also threw a pass that was real nice in this game as well. They kind of let San Antonio get some life in this game. But yeah,
they did.
Too much Battlehawks, and they shut the door on the San Antonio Brahmas and handed them their first loss. I said this in the preview episode. I think San Antonio was just because they've been abysmal outside of those quarters where they basically unwatchable outside of the moment, that fourth quarter comeback that they had last week against Arlington, I think it was. And then they won a game. They were just superior to the week 1, but they haven't looked all that good. And this kind of just showed that for sure.
Yeah. Man, like if I think when you talk about teams with no identity, San Antonio has to be also one of them. Like, how do you like, brother? How do you have 41 pass attempts and you don't even have 150 yards passing?
It's ridiculous.
Pretty bad.
It's terrible.
Pretty,
It's horrible.
pretty.
I'm not even sure what the average is. That like 42. I'll just pop it in the calculator right quick.
Like that's like AJ McCarron threw 27 passes. Like he threw 14 less passes and had 9 more yards than you.
It's
Like,
It's 3.7 yards per attempt.
so what? So what's going? Are you just throwing short? Are you just throwing short on like that? Because that's the game plan. Are you not having time to take the shots downfield like you want to? Like what's going on? Also, Hakeem Butler once again is a grown ass man. He should not be in this league.
Yeah, he should be for sure in the NFL. He's just unguardable sometimes in the XFL. Like he had 8 targets in this game. He caught it, brought in 6 of them. Yeah, I mean this
Like
is
one of those were triple coverage. Like it's just it's just like, hey, I'm bigger than you. And again, that just goes to like where he was at in the NFL. Like that's just like player malpractice because he wasn't getting reps at the receiver spot like he thought he would get. Like last time I saw Hakeem Butler in the NFL, he was on the Jets and they were using him as a tight end. That just goes to show you why the Jets are the Jets. Because like seriously, and so like he goes to the XFL now UFL, and he's been really goddamn good ever since.
He's been the best receiver in the league, and this is a league that also included Josh Gordon at one point.
Also included Josh Gordon at one point. It's so like San Antonio, man, they seriously got to figure this out. They got the. I'm trying to phrase it like they. It's not like they are bereft of talent. Like they got dudes on this team. Like they got dogs on this team. They got the right energy on the team. It just has to equate to on the field. Like they got guys that talk, which is fine. You want if you got dogs, you want them to bark. Yeah. Period. Like if you got dogs, you want them to bark. Period. But the play has to equate to on the field. What's San Antonio record? 1-2?
They're 2-1.
2-1. So
they basically escaped in their first 2 matchups, and they went up against a far superior team in this game, and then they got beat. I mean, they did put the hurting on the defenders in week 1, and one of Jordan Tiamo's uncharacteristically terrible game. Even though he hasn't been all that good this season, but that was week 1. He kind of just chalk it up to that. But then in week 2, they stole that game from the Showboats. I mean, they had like 10 yards of total offense in the first half, and they come out in the second half and they basically score 15 points in the final quarter and steal that game, or whatever the math is. The 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and basically win that game at the horn with the Cody Lattimore touchdown.
Yeah, so. It's I mean, I think with St. Louis, it's again like St. Louis is. I gotta look at each roster. I'm like, who has the most NFL talent on their rosters? Like you got an NFL quarterback in St. Louis, and it's like, yeah, I would hope that he's the best quarterback in this league, because what hasn't AJ McCarron seen? Honestly speaking, like what hasn't he seen? Like AJ McCarron started a couple games for the Bengals when he was in that organization. Hakeem,
he legitimately could be still in the NFL if he wanted to be.
As a backup, he 100% could be. So the rest of these guys this is what the XFL, UFL is for. Like guys that want to keep playing and trying to get to the next level. It's and like the other part about this is like talk about stealing the game. Like, bro, it's like total plays. San Antonio 70. They ran 22 more plays.
Yeah, I
Then
mean
the
they had the
battle hawk.
they had the football at time. Like it felt like they just didn't do anything with it. Like, I mean they're averaging 3.4 yards per pass attempt. They're averaging 3.6 yards per rush attempt. It's just not going to get it done.
44 to 26 minutes time of possession. Wow.
Yeah. Moving on from week number 3, let's talk about week number 4 as we preview this docket right there. Let's start with Saturday. We got two double headers actually. We got the two primetime games. I don't understand why they would put both primetime games on at the exact same time, but whatever. I also don't. I know DJ is probably tired of me ranting about this from last season, but the fact that ESPN doesn't allow you to like look at stats, like game stats and stuff, it's just super frustrating. Like I have to go to the
No, like
UFL website.
it's this, like last season exception. This season, no excuse. Like you show their games. Like you should have
Yeah,
all
you
that
should have
stuff.
like a stat. Like I should be able to click on the box score and like see all the numbers and stuff. And like I have to like go to I have to go to the UFL site and like check all the stuff there. Like it's just frustrating. But first game, we got the Memphis Showboats going into St. Louis, into that raucous crowd that is that St. Louis crowd, trying to relive the magic of the St. Louis Ram days. Battlehawks coming off that victory against the Brahmas, going up against a bad Showboats team. TJ, who do you got?
Next game.
I'm taking the Battlehawks too. From there, an actual pretty intriguing matchup. Probably could be a preview of what we see down the line. Maybe here we got the DC Defenders at 2-1 going into Birmingham, taking on the 3-0 Stallions there in Alabama. And I'm gonna take the Stallions. I think they're the most complete team in the UFL right now, and I just haven't liked what I've seen out of the Defenders. Like Jordan Tiamo, I don't know what it is. He just doesn't have the same swagger that he played with last season, and he's just not making the same plays that he made last year either. So give me the Stallions to win that game. TJ.
Agreed. If you're now, I will say this: if there's a team that could potentially match Birmingham and like in terms of like physicality, it's them. It's them, right? Like Jordan, like this would be the perfect game for Jordan Tiamo to get that swagger back, to get that bounce, to get that pep back in the step, like to get that buzz created about him again that he had last season. Like, hey, Jordan Tiamo could be potentially playing on Sundays versus in this league, right? Like. We have to sit here and talk like Jordan Tiamo wasn't getting some NFL buzz off of last season.
He was really good last year.
He was really good last year, and this one, the game, like this real talk should be the game where everybody's like, hold on, like hold the hell on, like, hey, I gotta watch this one, like especially if you follow the UFL like we do, like this should be the game where it's like, hey, I'm watching this one.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm watching this one.
It's the best game of the weekend, probably. And then to the second primetime game, which is for some reason also at 7:00 p.m. Standard Time on Fox. One of them will have to be pushed to FS1, I'm assuming. We got the Michigan Panthers going into the Alamo Dome, taking on the Brahmas. I still don't totally know what a Brahmas is, but TJ, who do you get, the Panthers or the Brahmas?
It's a bull. Like the Brahma Bull, like what The Rock calls himself, like that's a real thing. Like the Brahma Bull is a real thing. Give me. See, I think this is probably like so far. I haven't looked at. I gotta look at the rest of their schedule. I think this might be the toughest defense that the Panthers have probably faced.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they didn't play the Stallions in week 2.
Okay, I said second toughest defense they faced. So like if you've handled can EJ Perry recreate that efficiency that he did last week? And this is kind of the defense this is one of the defenses to test yourself against. Like we talk about San Antonio, like their defense, hey, you gonna know you played them. You're gonna know you played them. Like they hit hard, they're very physical. Like I said, they got some dogs on that team, and they bark loud. and one Cy Young Williamson. Give me the Brahmas. I think give me the Brahmas. No. I'll take that back. Give me the Panthers. Their kicker kicks like a 60-yarder to send them home.
I'm also taking the Michigan Panthers. The Brahmas offense is just so I just don't know what I'm going to get from them from week to week, and most of the time what I'm going to get out of this has been trash. So I'm going to take the Michigan Panthers. They win this game. They continue this winning streak that they've been on there, 2 in a row for them. And then the battle of the defeated as the Renegades go into Houston and take on the Roughnecks. The Renegades actually have had. They did get beat down pretty hard by the Birmingham Stallions, but that's going to happen to a lot of teams. But their other 2 losses have been by a combined 5 points. They lost at the Horn. They lost at the Horn to the Defenders, actually 1 point. And then they got beat by the Battlehawks, basically at the Horn, too, for 3 points. So a total of 4 points. The Roughnecks, on the other hand, have struggled so far this season to really kind of capture whatever magic they had last season. I keep saying that, but I know that this isn't the same franchise. Like, this is the Gamblers franchise from the USFL. They just chose the Roughnecks name and logo for whatever reason and fired Wade Phillips. But I'm going to take the Renegades. I think they get off the schneid. They have just gotten kind of robbed in 2 games in a row. And then, Birmingham kind of gave them the business. But I haven't liked what I've seen out of the Roughnecks. And I think there's a big question mark, especially at the quarterback position, for the Houston Roughnecks. Give me the Renegades.
Very astute analysis. Somebody got to win. This is one like remember when we used to have 2 really bad NFL teams? They'd be like 0, like they both be defeated, and we'd be like somebody got to win. Like this is that. Like somebody got to win. And to your point, Arlington has had games won. They've had games won, and they've done everything physically possible to lose them. I'm with you on. I think I want to agree with you. The only thing Houston has for them right now is they're at home, and maybe a little home cooking is what's needed. I don't know the extent of the injury that the quarterback got, but if Reed Sennett.
Let me take a look. Cortano.
If Reed Sennett is the starter, and again, I said it in the game against Michigan, he had numbers that you could work with.
He's gonna miss a month, so he's not gonna play this game.
Okay, so Reed Sennett, it's your show going forward. It's your show going forward. He had numbers against Michigan that you can work with. 19 to 28, 150 some yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. All right, you can work with that. Maybe more decision making. Maybe some more timely throws downfield. Because it ain't like he wasn't taking shots downfield. They just weren't hitting them.
Yeah.
Right. So just to be different, I'm gonna take Houston at home.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Houston at home, and if I'm wrong, you can make fun of me next time we do this.
Shout out to Derek who's watching our podcast. He's a big Stallions fan. He said, "Go Stallions! We beat the life out of teams." And he might not be wrong.
You do. Again, the one thing I was kind of concerned with them is, how do you replace Bo Scarborough? How do you do that? And so far they have adjusted accordingly. That's not something that you can just easily replace. That is 6'3", 250. That was a mammoth human being that you had in your backfield. Where that's how they won games in the USFL. We finna wear you down. By the fourth quarter, you are not going to want to tackle us anymore because it's gonna hurt.
But thank you very much for Derek for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. We're going to be breaking down every single week of the UFL, so keep an eye out for Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We also give you guys NFL, NBA, college basketball, college football. We give you guys all sorts of content, WWE.
And I think I don't know when Izzy's going to start his baseball portion.
Yeah.
Because we're 17 games in for most teams. Bro, I was sitting with my OG this morning, and she was like, "What's the Cubs' record?" I'm like 10-6. She's like, "They done played 16 games already." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, it goes by. When you play a game every day, it goes quick. But yeah, thank you very much for checking us out. I'm David Huffman right there with my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, kind sir.
Yes, sir. We'll be back here tomorrow. We're gonna be swinging into our NBA, our NFL content tomorrow. We're gonna be doing like a live mock draft. So keep an eye out for that stuff. You're gonna love this. So peace out, guys.
All right, see you.
Peace out, TJ.